What's up, everybody? So it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on my way to Florence, Alabama for something really, really special. But I plan on stopping at various different cities and historical sites, maybe just some historical markers along the way, because that's just what I do. I'm getting older, so I got to get out and stretch anyway, so I might as well do it somewhere that I actually enjoy. So I hope you all enjoy this ride with me. It is 8 hours. I'm going through, I think, 4 different states on my way to Alabama from North Carolina. So watch and enjoy. Peace. All right, finally able to take a break. And what better place to do such than at a historic site? I rented this car. It's a Kia. And it's been pretty dope. But here I am right now doing what I do, hunting down historical markers. This is in Alabama, a Union Army headquarters. It says Stevenson was a major supply station and staging ground for decisive campaigns and battles of the Civil War. This small house called the Little Brick was alive with activity when General William Rosecrans relocated his command here on August the 18th, 1863. Over the next 3 weeks, an air of urgency surrounded Stevenson, and this house at Rosecrans planned the Union attack on the Confederate General Braxton Bragg at Chattanooga. So Chattanooga's not too far from here, but it looks like this was the location of the home. There's some cement blocks here and maybe some more remnants of the home over here, but also it could be where this gate is, where it was once gated off at one point in time. I'm not quite sure, but this is some of the unheralded stuff that I like to find when I'm walking around and exploring neighborhoods and stuff like that. I reckon this is it. This was probably where the home once stood. Yeah. Glad to have a marker up for it though, because these things are so important for individuals to know. So it looks like there's brick right here, maybe in the foundation. Yeah, I think this was the foundation of the home on that side and over there as well. So first stop, down. Man, that trip, the traffic really threw a monkey wrench in my plans, because I planned on stopping at some other spots, but I got to get to Florence because there's some paperwork I got to pick up for tomorrow for something that I'm doing down there that's real special. But the town I'm in, Stevenson, Alabama. Small town, USA. We'll see what else this town has here in a second. See what else we can find. Get one more good look at it. All right, made it to a second location here in Stevenson, Alabama. So I'm starving. I'm only gonna be here for a second, but I gotta check it out because anytime I see a historical marker, I will stop. And this is interesting. It's called Averyville, and it's sitting right across from a housing development in this town. And this is the landscape around it, as you see. And this is called Averyville. During the Reconstruction period following the Civil War, a freedmen community was established in this area called Averyville. So this is pretty dope. So this was individuals who decided to take it upon themselves to create a sense of autonomy from the standpoint of having ownership of a home, perhaps. It was named for the Pennsylvania minister and successful businessman Charles Avery. Stated a long time and faithful champion of Negro education. So this is pretty dope. Wilmer Walton, a Quaker missionary, moved to Stevenson and Averyville as early as 1865, opening a school financed by the Quaker Friends Association for aid and elevation of the freedmen, which is interesting to see how far the reach is from the Quakers, because of the simple fact that in North Carolina we have a large Quaker community in the Guilford County and it's one other county, Alamance County area. KKK violence, threats, and intimidation drove the teachers away by the early 1870s and the school closed. That's damn crazy. On the other side, its most notable student was William Hooper, a former enslaved person brought to Alabama in 1857. He attended the Avery School as a freedman, becoming a teacher himself by the end of his third year here. He moved to Huntsville in 1869 and opened the Lincoln Normal School to train black teachers in 1873. Dr. Council founded the Alabama Agricultural and Mechanic University, Alabama A&M, that's what's up, HBCUs, using funds appropriated by the Alabama legislature to train black teachers. So this location right here is very significant. It's a shame that, unfortunately, domestic, the T word, drove folks up out of here who were just trying to get educated and live freely. But this is Averyville, and you'll find in various different communities they have, pockets that are named after people who are influential as a way to pay homage to them. But this one right here is pretty dope. Had their own school, seemed like it was pretty sound, but unfortunately, as you see right here, that was short-lived, because it says right here, Klan violence and threats, intimidation drove teachers away. So if you don't have teachers, you can't educate folks. And we know how important teachers are, and even today teachers are struggling to get equal, or to get pay to sustain just stability, life, pay rent, mortgages, and not only that, but food, gas, everything. So this was Averyville. Hope you enjoyed it. The thing I think a lot of people forget are the beautiful rolling hills in Alabama as well, and they have some mountainous terrain in northern Alabama. So it's very reminiscent of Tennessee to a certain degree, and this is all part of what's called the Tennessee Valley as well. So just kind of wanted to point that out. So when we talk about going further and further south, mountain ranges aren't necessarily perhaps what people think about versus on the East Coast or on the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? Oregon and Washington State, California. But, it may not be towering mountains here in Alabama. However, they'll do. All right, folks, I made it to downtown Scottsboro, Alabama. And so there was a pivotal case that happened here in the South that involved 9 African-American male boys here in Scottsboro, and it hit headlines across the country as it relates to the outcome, in which we will discuss. But it was during a turbulent time in this country, and so we'll get into that. But first, I want us to just check out some of downtown Scottsboro. This is my first time ever being here. An unexpected find, downtown Scottsboro. That's some of their marketing, and it looks like they have done a good job of educating visitors by having various different signage on the post of the lights, which is pretty dope. Definitely downtown has barbershops, and so you see the quintessential barbershop right there. It's called Eddie Styling and Barbershop. It's probably been around forever. Staples in the communities are barbershops for sure. Nice, quaint, clean southern town down here in Alabama. Let's see what we have here. Pat's Place, service with a smile. Here's an advertisement for Pat's Place or the Blue Wagon Cafe, the Progressive Age newspaper. It shows the early diner or food truck on the east side of the square based on the Progressive Age sign seen at the top of the photograph, which is right there. I think more towns need to do this. You know, it really helps individuals that are coming in and maybe deciding to move in these towns, the ability to learn some of the local history. Listen, you cannot be in the South. You cannot be in the South and not find a antique store. It's just part of the makeup in most downtowns. So we're gonna walk down to the area where the historical marker is for the Scottsboro boys and see what they have for that. But I'm liking it. You know, even though I live in a larger city, it's just something about being in smaller towns that just, I don't know, it gives you that Mayberry in the heat of the night effect that for me just makes me happy, sparks a sense of nostalgia. I'm gonna show you some more of downtown here. Let's head on up here, because this is what I'm here for. I try to be as strategic as possible whenever I do travel to make sure that I hit all of the highlights that, you know, pique my interest, and as well as others, hopefully. So remember to subscribe and share with friends if you like the content. And more signage of downtown Scottsboro. It's like these southern towns are having a good resurgence of economic stability. And so in order to do that, you would have to include the history, in my personal opinion. All right, so here we are. The Jackson County Courthouse and the Scottsboro boys. So this was the location of the trial for the Scottsboro boys. And so essentially what happened was there were two white women who accused 9 black teenagers of rape in 1931 while riding a freight train. And so I think it was the first, let me see, I think they convicted like 8 of the 9 defendants and sentenced them to death right here at this courthouse. I'm gonna walk around. And then but the judge did declare a mistrial for one of the defendants or what have you. And the NAACP got involved, as well as the International Labor Defense. They came to defense of the Scottsboro boys and contended that the trials were unconstitutional. Looks like we'll get a better look on this side because of the lighting. So all of that took place right here at this courthouse, the Jackson County Courthouse. So I'm glad they have this historical marker up here because it was a very pivotal case here in Alabama and the country, and you know, the good works of the NAACP and ILD was significant. So that happened right here. Newspapers from everywhere were covering it, and downtown Scottsboro is where it went down. All right, Scottsboro, it has been real, but I have to get on the road. I get thrown off my journey so much. Sometimes I have to bake in like an additional 2 hours because I try to stop at so many different places and capture this content so I can bring it to you all. And so it's well worth it. Plus I'm old now, so to get out and stretch is always helpful for my back. I was having some sciatic pain not too long ago, and so I've been doing a lot of stretching and things like that. And so I drive a lot, and because I drive a lot, of course, it adds all kind of pressure onto my back, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. All right, we'll see where we go next. Peace. All right, I don't exactly know where I'm at. I just know I'm on an interstate here in Alabama, and I found another historical marker. It is next to this school, but this one is related to the Trail of Tears. And so they also have a sitting bench that's out here as well. And I think it's pretty dope that people or communities do put these things in place for individuals to self-reflect and to think about the things that have happened from a historical perspective. And so This is the Alabama-Tennessee Trail of Tears Corridor Committee that erected this, it looks like. May of 1838, soldiers under the command of U.S. Army General Winfield Scott, another Scott, began rounding up Cherokee Indians in this area who had refused to move to Indian Territory in Oklahoma. So of course we're talking about the Trail of Tears. About 1,600 Cherokees were placed in stockades in Tennessee and Alabama until their removal. Roughly 3,000 were sent by boat down the Tennessee River, and the rest were marched overland in the fall and winter of 1838 and 1839. This forced removal under harsh conditions resulted in the deaths of about 4,000 Cherokees. So this speaks to the Trail of Tears, and this is part of that corridor right here. You can see the highway is there. So this provides individuals the opportunity to stop at any time. Again, they have the benches right here where you can sit back and self-reflect and look at things from a historical perspective, as well as get the views of the hills over there off in the distance, and just some good rural county living. Somewhere in Alabama, not quite sure, but another stop. Thank y'all for rolling with me. I appreciate you. Peace. I located another historical marker, of course, because that's what this is all about. And we let these trucks go by. All right, so this is the O.C. Stanley Grocery and Service Station, which was a vital part as it relates to the economic stability in the African American community. There was a Reverend O.C. Stanley that owned and operated the business for more than 6 decades. So clearly, this most likely was a family operation, and it looks like it included dry cleaning, taxi services. It looks like when he first opened the store, eggs were sold for 10 cents per dozen, and meat was 10 cents per pound. I mean, we'll never see those prices again. 25 pounds of flour for 50 cents. Even though I can't have flour like that right now unless it was gluten-free, you know what I'm saying? This would definitely sustain a family for a long period of time. And let's look and identify some more information on Mr. Stanley himself. So it says that he was born May the 4th, 1904. O.C. Stanley served as a minister for 3 area Baptist churches. You did find that common in where a minister would pastor multiple churches. In 1937, he built and served as the original pastor of the First Baptist Church of Lighton, the town's first black Baptist church. He married Elsie King Stanley of Lighton, and it may be Leighton, but I think it's Lighton. The couple had 10 children, a farmer, Freemason, member of the Order of the Eastern Star, trustee of North Alabama Baptist Academy, and a charter member of the Valley-Wide Improvement Association of Cortland. Stanley died August the 1st, 1987. So clearly this person was a stalwart in the community, and I love being able to identify those unheralded stories in small town USA. Because, you know, we hear a lot about the big guys, the big people, the big women that have done, and when I mean big, I don't mean like physical, I mean people who have that type of legend behind their name. But, you know, this O.C. Stanley was a local legend, and he provided a lot for the community as it relates to his viability. So one more stop, I'm gonna give you all a look at the scenery out here. As you can see, we're as rural can get in Alabama with the highway going through it. But another stop, O.C. Stanley Service Station. Peace. So this concludes my stop on the way down to Florence, Alabama, and I hope you've learned something. Thanks for joining, and make sure to come back as I identify some highlights in the city of Florence. Make sure to subscribe and share. Peace and blessings.